I was standing in our garage, car keys in my hand, staring at the empty space where my grandmother's BMW should have been. Derek walked in behind me like nothing was wrong. "Oh yeah, I sold it. We needed the cash for the business." I turned around slowly. "You sold my car? The one my grandmother gave me?" He shrugged. "It was just sitting there. You barely drove it anyway." My hands started shaking. I couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. That's when I realized he had no idea what I was about to do. "My name is Emma. I'm 31 years old. I work as a financial analyst for a mid-sized consulting firm. Numbers, spreadsheets, balance sheets. That's my world. I'm good at spotting patterns. I'm even better at seeing when something doesn't add up. I met Derek in college. He was charming, ambitious. He talked about building something from the ground up, about creating a life we could be proud of. I believed him. We got married 6 years ago. 4 years ago, he started his landscaping company, and I supported him. I took out a loan in my name, used my savings, helped him incorporate the business, set up accounts, file the paperwork. 3 years ago, my grandmother passed away. She left me her 1987 BMW convertible. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't worth a fortune. But it was pristine, and it was hers. She used to take me for drives when I was little, windows down, her laughing as the wind messed up her hair. I kept that car garaged. I drove it on weekends, on quiet mornings when I needed to feel close to her again. Derek always called it a waste of space. I'm not the type to scream or throw things. I don't pick fights. But I'm not naive either. My job taught me how to read financial statements, how to track money, how to notice when numbers don't line up. I wasn't rich. I wasn't glamorous. But I knew how to follow a paper trail. If you've ever been pushed aside by family, subscribe right now and tell me where you're watching from. Because what happened next changed everything. I'd come home from grocery shopping that afternoon. The garage door was open. I walked in with bags in my arms and froze. The car was gone. My first thought was panic. Someone stole it. I dropped the bags and grabbed my phone. Called Derek. He answered on the second ring, casual as ever. "Hey, what's up?" "Derek, the car's gone. Someone..." "Oh, relax. I sold it." I froze. "You..." "What?" "I sold the BMW. Found a buyer online. Got $8,500 cash for it. Already deposited it into the business account." My brain couldn't process what he was saying. "You sold my car?" "Yeah. We needed it for new equipment. You said you wanted the business to grow, right?" "I never said sell my car." He sighed like I was being dramatic. "It's not like you used it. And technically, we're married. What's yours is mine, right?" I felt my chest tighten. "Derek, that was my grandmother's car." "I know. And now it's helping us build our future. Don't make this a big deal." "Did you even ask me?" Silence. Then, "I figured you'd be fine with it. Look, I gotta go. Client's waiting." He hung up. I stood there in the empty garage, holding my phone, my hands shaking. When I finally made it inside, I saw the framed photo on the kitchen counter. Me and Grandma standing beside the car, her arm around my shoulders, both of us smiling. I felt sick. Then I felt something else. Anger. I opened my laptop, logged into the business account. I was a co-signer. I'd set up the whole system when we incorporated. I saw the deposit, $8,500, just like he said. And then I saw something else. Large withdrawals, dozens of them, labeled personal withdraw, $12,000. Gone. Over the last 2 months. My breath caught. He wasn't just selling my car. He was hiding money. That evening, Derek came home like nothing had happened. He grabbed a beer from the fridge, sat down on the couch, turned on the TV. I sat beside him, pulled out my phone, pulled up the bank transactions. Derek. Yeah? I turned the screen toward him. What's this? He glanced at it. His jaw tightened. Business expenses. You wouldn't understand. I stared at him. I'm a financial analyst. Try me. He set down the beer. This is exactly why I don't tell you everything, Emma. You overthink. You get all worked up over nothing. $12,000 is not nothing. It's my business. It's our business. I co-signed the loan. My name is on the account. He stood up. You know what? You're being controlling. I'm out there working my ass off every day and you sit here questioning me like I'm some criminal. I opened my mouth, closed it. He shook his head. I thought you supported me. And then he walked out, went to the garage. I heard the door slam. I sat there alone, second-guessing myself. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I didn't understand how business worked. Maybe he was right. A week later, we went to dinner with Derek's business partner Kyle and his wife Jenna. A nice Italian place downtown. We ordered wine, appetizers. Everyone was laughing. Then Jenna turned to Derek. By the way, I saw your new truck yesterday. It's gorgeous. I looked up from my pasta. New truck? Kyle grinned. Yeah, man, that F-150 is a beast. You earned it. I felt my stomach drop. You bought a $40,000 truck and didn't tell me? Derek's smile went tight. He looked at me like I'd just embarrassed him in front of his boss. It's a business vehicle. We'll talk about it later. The table went quiet. Jenna looked down at her plate. Kyle cleared his throat. Derek leaned in close. His voice was low, harsh. Don't embarrass me in front of them. I swallowed the humiliation, didn't say another word the rest of the meal. In the car afterward, Derek exploded. What the hell was that? You bought a truck without telling me. It's for work. We're married, Derek. You don't just spend $40,000. You made me look weak in front of my partner. I didn't. I'm running the business, Emma. You're just the money person. Stay in your lane. I stared out the window. My throat burned. I didn't trust myself to speak. When we got home, I couldn't sleep. I waited until Derek was snoring beside me. Then I got up, took my laptop into the kitchen. I downloaded the full transaction history, every deposit, every withdrawal, every transfer. And then I saw it, a pattern. Consulting fees to Apex Solutions, $15,000, over 3 months. I Googled the name. Nothing. No website. No business listing. I ran the EIN number through the business records database. It didn't exist. My hands were shaking now. I checked our phone records. We were on a shared plan. There. Repeated calls to the same number. Over and over. I ran a reverse search. The number was registered to a woman named Simone Taylor. I sat back. The room felt like it was spinning. He wasn't just spending money. He was spending it on someone else. I didn't confront him. Not yet. Instead, I started gathering everything. Screenshots, bank statements, receipts. I organized it all into a folder on my desktop. Password protected. Derek thought I was just upset about the car. He had no idea I was building a case. What Derek didn't know, what he never bothered to ask, was that I wasn't just a co-signer. When we incorporated the business, my friend Lauren, she's a family law attorney, told me to protect myself. So I structured the LLC so that I held 50% ownership. On paper. Legally binding. Derek signed everything without reading it. He trusted me to handle the paperwork. I never told him. At the time, it felt paranoid. Like I was planning for something I didn't want to believe could happen. Now? It felt like the smartest thing I'd ever done. I had full administrative access to every account. I could freeze funds, authorize transactions, remove signers. I also had a separate savings account Derek didn't know about. $18,000. Emergency fund, just in case. And the house? My name was on the deed. I'd paid the down payment. Late one night, while Derek slept, I pulled up the business dashboard. I could see everything. Transfer funds, download records, change passwords. I didn't act. Not yet. But I watched. I waited. I gathered proof. He thought he was so clever, but he forgot one thing. I was the one who set up his entire financial system. I met Lauren for coffee the next week, told her everything. Her face went dark. Emma, this is financial infidelity. You have grounds. I don't know if I want a divorce. I just want the truth. She leaned forward. Then you need leverage. Right now, he thinks he holds all the cards. You need to show him he doesn't. She gave me the name of a forensic accountant, someone who could trace the Apex Solutions payments. I hired him that afternoon. Over the next 2 weeks, Derek got bolder. He came home one night wearing a designer watch. Nice watch, I said. Gift from a client. Must have been a good job. He kissed my forehead. Business is good, babe. He stopped consulting me about bills. When I asked about expenses, he'd wave me off. I've got it, don't worry. Then one night, I heard him on the phone in the garage. I stood by the door, listened. Yeah, babe, it's handled. She doesn't suspect a thing. He laughed. I'll see you Friday. Miss you. He walked back inside smiling, kissed me on the forehead like nothing had happened. I smiled back. Bile rose in my throat. A few days later, Derek announced he had a business trip. Miami, investor meetings. I'll be gone next month for a long weekend. That's great, I said. Kyle going too? Nah, just me. I texted Jenna that night. Hey, is Kyle going to Miami with Derek? She replied in minutes. No? He's got jobs booked all month. Why? I didn't answer. The forensic accountant called me the next day. Apex Solutions is a shell, no legitimate business activity. The payments are almost certainly personal. To who? I can't confirm, but if I had to guess, someone he's having a relationship with. I thanked him, hung up, sat in my car in the parking lot and cried. Then I dried my eyes. I moved my emergency fund to a new account, changed the passwords on everything I controlled, copied every document I had. I texted Derek. We need to talk about finances. Friday night. Can we sit down? He replied immediately. Sure, babe. Happy to walk you through it. I stared at the screen, smiled. I'm sure you are. Friday evening, I set up my laptop on the dining room table, printed out the bank statements, organized them in a folder. Derek walked in around 6, relaxed, confident. So what's this about? I slid the stack of papers across the table. Explain Apex Solutions. His face flickered, just for a second. Then he recovered. Consulting firm. Marketing help. I met his eyes. They don't exist. No EIN. No website. No business license. His jaw tightened. You've been spying on me? I've been protecting myself. You've stolen over $15,000 from our business. He stood up. Our business? I built that company. I stayed calm. With my money, my credit, and my name on 50% ownership. He froze. What? I turned the laptop toward him, showed him the LLC documents. I own half. I have full account access. I always have. His face went white. You're lying. Read it yourself. He stared at the screen. I watched the realization hit him. Tell me the truth right now, I said, or I freeze every account tonight. You can't do that. I pulled up the business dashboard, showed him my admin access. Want to test me? Silence. Long, heavy silence. Then Derek slumped into the chair. Her name's Simone. 5 months. I kept my face completely neutral. And the money? Dinners? Trips? Gifts? He looked up. I'm sorry. I'll end it. I didn't blink. You sold my grandmother's car to buy your girlfriend gifts. He flinched. I slid another piece of paper across the table. A separation agreement. Lauren had drafted it 2 days ago. Derek stared at it. You can't be serious. Sign this and we split assets fairly, or I report you for fraud and forgery. You signed my name on the car title without permission. That's a felony. I opened another folder. Loan documents, investment records, expense reports, all in my name. My terms are simple. You're out of this house by Sunday. We sell the business. I get 60% of the proceeds, and you return $23,500 within 30 days. I don't have it. Sell the truck. He looked at me like I was a stranger. Maybe I was. He picked up the pen. His hand was shaking. He signed. I took the papers, stood up, walked toward the stairs. You can sleep in the guest room. I want you gone tomorrow. I locked the bedroom door behind me, and finally I let myself cry. Derek moved out that weekend. I filed for separation on Monday. The business sold within 2 months to a local competitor. My share came to $47,000 after debts. Derek sold the truck, scraped together the rest, returned $12,000. I let the rest go. It wasn't worth the fight. The house stayed mine. My name was on the deed. A few weeks later, Derek tried reaching out. Apologies. Flowers. I blocked his number. Jenna told me later that Simone dumped him once the money dried up. I didn't feel satisfaction, just relief. I started therapy, worked through the betrayal, the years I'd spent making myself smaller, quieter, less. 3 months later, I bought a used convertible. Not the same as Grandma's, but it was mine. I drove it on Saturdays, windows down, music loud. One day, I ran into Derek at the grocery store. He looked tired, older. Emma, hey. I wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. I looked at him. This man I'd loved, this man I'd built a life with, and I felt nothing. I hope you figure things out, Derek. I walked away, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel angry or scared. I felt free. He'd taken my car, my trust, my peace, but he couldn't take my strength. That was always mine. If you've ever had to stand up to someone who betrayed you, hit that subscribe button and tell me your story in the comments. I read every single one, and I want you to know, you're not alone. Where are you watching from? Drop your location below. And if this story meant something to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes the hardest thing is realizing the person you loved wasn't who you thought they were. But you're stronger than you know. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.